Hello. As you may know, the Bass Pro Cabela's commercial grade sausage stuffer is the ultimate for making large volumes of sausages, brats, summer sausages, snack sticks, and more. Now with the addition of the new commercial grade stuffer motor, you'll have the increased advantage of speed, efficiency, and output without having to use the hand crank. There's also a foot pedal included, so you can operate at your own pace while your hands are free to handle and twist a steady stream of delicious sausage links. The sausage stuffer motor is designed to be mounted on Cabela's 15-pound and 25-pound commercial grade sausage stuffers. In this video, we're going to cover the following steps to get you up and running. Stuffer motor carton contents and parts. Attaching the switch ramp. Mounting the stuffer motor and connection cables, including the foot pedal. Attaching the magnetic upper limit switch. Using stuffer motor controls. Silicone plunger gasket placement pre-check. Proper meat preparation and the stuffing tube and motor speed reference chart. Operating the stuffer motor and foot pedal. Helpful operating tips and important safeguards. And of course, troubleshooting tips. Let's get started first by reviewing all the parts included with the stuffer motor. In the carton, you should have the motor unit along with a 3-prong grounded power cord, a dual connection cable attached to the magnetic upper limit switch, a switch ramp with 1 long screw and 1 short screw, the upper limit switch connection bracket, a foot pedal with connection cable. For installation, you'll need a flathead screwdriver and a Phillips head screwdriver. You can also use this included 2-sided offset screwdriver. If you have any parts missing, contact customer service at customerservice@blueskyig.com or call 1-855-939-7623. Step 1. Attaching the limit switch ramp. In order to make it easier to install the limit switch ramp, we're going to first raise the plunger all the way up and remove the canister. Then we'll lower the plunger back down to make it easier to install the bracket. Pull the pin from the plunger and remove it. Next, remove the lower factory installed screw from the front of the plunger shaft. Then slide the switch ramp onto the gear shaft, aligning the holes with the 2 existing threaded holes in the shaft. Insert the short screw on the back and secure it by hand. Then insert the longer screw on the front and tighten both with the screwdriver. Step 2. Attaching the stuffer motor. After you've installed the limit switch ramp, you'll need to remove the stuffer handle. Make sure that the stuffer is on a flat surface, since the weight of the motor could cause the unit to tip if it's not stabilized. Next, slide the motor drive onto the lower shaft marked stuffing speed, and if needed, rotate into place. Once in place, start threading the 2 thumb screws located at the top and bottom of the stuffer motor. You may also need to raise or lower the plunger shaft slightly in order to line it up to mesh with the spline shaft in the motor housing. Then finish by hand tightening all 3 screws. If necessary, use a standard flat blade screwdriver to help. Step 3. Installing upper limit switch and connecting cables. You'll see that the upper limit switch has a locating tab and embedded magnets on the top side. The magnets allow for easily placing the upper limit switch onto the underside of the stuffer's gearbox housing. When facing the back side of the stuffer, look for the 2 screws located under the gearbox in a raised area to the left of the gear shaft. Remove the screws and save them. Next, locate the open slot next to the plunger shaft and place the magnetic side of the limit switch up onto the gearbox housing, so that the tab of the switch fits into the slot and you feel the switch snap into place. Next, slide the upper limit switch support bracket over the mounted upper limit switch. Match the curved slot on the side of the bracket with the cable side of the switch. The cable should fit into a curved slot. Align the 2 holes of the bracket with the screw holes on the gearbox and replace the screws that were removed previously. On the back of the motor, you'll see the foot pedal port on the left. The center connection is for the limit switch dual cable, and the power cord connections on the right. Plus, you'll find a reset button. Next, locate the motor input port on the stuffer gearbox housing above the mounted motor. Remove the cap, connect the motor connection cable by pushing it into the inlet, and then hand tighten the threaded metal collar. If you want to use the foot pedal, remove the cap covering the foot pedal input port on the motor. Connect the foot pedal cable and hand tighten the metal collar. Finally, plug the power cord into a 120 volt, 60 Hz wall outlet. Step 4. Stuffer motor controls, limit switch, and plunger gasket ring pre-check. With Cabela's commercial grade sausage stuffer motor, you have the option of operating the stuffer by using manual controls or by using the foot pedal attachment. On the front of the stuffer motor, you'll see up, stop, and down buttons, a speed indicator light window, a speed adjustment dial, and the on-off power button. Next, press the power button on. Note that it is very important to properly position and seat the limit switch to make sure that the switch is installed correctly. If not, the motor will continually beep showing error E1 flashing on the motor's speed indicator light window until it is installed properly. When the limit switch is in the right position, the indicator light will read 0 and you're ready to begin stuffing. Before starting, check the plunger gasket ring to make sure that it's properly installed with the groove side facing down. Your stuffer unit may have come with an O-ring instead, so it doesn't matter which way that's installed. Reinstall the plunger on the shaft. Then press up on the controls to raise the plunger to the top. The limit switch will stop the motor automatically. It's now time to install the meat-filled canister. Step 5. Proper meat preparation. Keep in mind that ground meats mixed with seasonings or salt will quickly stiffen and become very thick and sticky, making it harder for the plunger to move meat down through the cylinder and out the stuffing tube. When stuffing large quantities of meat, it's very important to add and mix liquid to the meat mixture in order to lubricate, eliminate backup, and high-pressure resistance. You can also refer to the chart on the canister for suggested mix amounts. To maximize meat output with an even, steady flow and reduce casing blowouts, you should refer to the speed rate and stuffing tube size comparison chart on the back of the motor. Once you've replaced the meat-filled cylinder, select your stuffing tube size, slide on the casing, and you're ready to start. Step 6. Stuffer motor operation. When stuffing manually using the control panel, press down to start the plunger and turn the speed adjustment knob to control the speed slower or faster as needed. Be sure to keep your fingers out of any pinch areas. If the casing is filling up too quickly, select a slower speed. If the motor starts struggling or the plunger stalls, press stop and then mix more water into your sausage. Then continue until the internal limit switch stops the plunger near the bottom of the canister. To go up, press the up button. The indicator light will show U. The plunger will raise all the way up until the switch ramp connects with the upper limit switch and stops the motor. Step 7. Foot pedal operation. After you've connected the foot pedal, turn the power button on. When you press down on the control panel, the indicator light will start flashing and will continue flashing until you press the foot pedal to begin. Next, turn the speed adjustment dial to your desired speed. Press the pedal and the plunger will start going down. As soon as you let go of the pedal, the plunger will stop and the blinking indicator light will flash while the motor is paused. Press the foot pedal again and the plunger will continue going down. While using the foot pedal, you'll be hands-free to control the speed on the speed adjust dial, as well as hold and twist the casing as it fills. When finished, press the up button. The pedal does not need to be pressed to allow the unit to travel in the up direction. Step 8. Helpful operating tips. The Bass Pro Cabela's commercial-grade sausage stuffer, combined with the power of the stuffer motor attachment, is a time-saving way to make large quantities of sausage, brats, snack sticks, and more. But since it is a powerful appliance, you should make sure to take time to do the following to make sure that you're operating safely, efficiently, and trouble-free. First and foremost, you should read and follow the operating manual instructions to learn more details about the stuffer motor's operating safeguards. It's also important to match the recommended stuffing speed with the size of the stuffing tube as shown on the reference chart on the back of the stuffer motor. When preparing sausage casings, read the package directions to make sure you are fitting the right size casing on the stuffing tube you plan to use, and pre-soak casings in advance. Adding a drop of vegetable oil to the tube and slowly sliding the casing onto the tube will also help to avoid tears and blowouts. Plus, keep in mind that adding water to your meat mixture does not dilute the meat flavor. In fact, you can even experiment with liquid flavor enhancers like beer, wine, or juices, since any liquids that you add will evaporate out during the cooking, curing, or smoking process. Remember that when using Cabela's commercial-grade sausage stuffer with a motor, you should always operate with safety in mind. As the meat mixture gets pushed down, pressure will build up in the canister, and highly pressurized meat could exit out of the canister or stuffing tube nozzle unexpectedly. As a precaution, protective eyewear should be worn during the stuffing process. Check the plunger gasket ring to make sure that it's correctly installed with the groove side facing down. If the gasket is not properly installed, the heavy downward pressure from the motor on the plunger could cause leakage and possibly damage the gear shaft. It's very important to keep your hands and fingers clear of the top of the cylinder while the plunger is retracting. You may also want to keep a box of Cabela's disposable nitrile gloves handy for safer handling of meat and sausages. Step 9. Troubleshooting tips. If the motor does not start, check that the stuffer motor is plugged in and the power switch is on. Check all cables to make sure they are fully pressed into the connection ports and secured with the threaded metal collar. Check to make sure the external limit switch is installed correctly and is fully seated in place. Check the foot pedal to make sure that it's plugged in and fully depressed. When operating the stuffer for long periods of heavy usage, you should wait at least 5 minutes between canister loads to allow the motor to cool down before the next stuffing session. If the motor stops during operation, wait several minutes, then press the reset button. Once you become familiar with using the Cabela's commercial stuffer with the stuffer motor, you'll soon discover how easy it is to use, and you may never go back to the old grind again. And your arm will thank you for it.